Yo, what's good, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. This is Tyrus Bane. Welcome to the Definition of Anarchy channel, where today I'm going to talk about this child-threatening dipshit, the idiot Lucas, comparing
north and then
gun rights to voter rights. Okay, let's talk about this, because and it's not just him, right? Well, it's not just him. Well, it is just him comparing gun rights to voter rights, but it's not just him putting so much energy into this voting law that just came out in Georgia. Okay. Now, in order to continue to attack Republicans because, he's petty and, he's a narcissistic, petty person who has this agenda and this revenge plot, right, to go after Republicans, that he has lost the plot completely. He will go as far as to compare the government going after our rights to keep and bear arms to, the government going after our right to vote. Now, I understand that back in the day, people died for their right to vote, right? People died for their right to vote. And, I'm going to make some comparisons, and I'm going to tell you where it's completely, you can't compare the two, okay? Yes, people died for the right to vote, and also people died for their right to keep and bear arms. Let's not get that twisted. As a matter of fact, that's what sparked essentially the Revolutionary War. All right, so let's get that straight, okay? Now, understand that voting is one of those rights that don't do anything. It's completely unnecessary in my mind. As a matter of fact, voting can be dangerous, and I'm gonna explain how. We live in a tyrannical system, right?
Continue on.
I can assure you
north
that I can't assure you of this, but anybody with common sense knows that the government cannot be trusted. Anybody with common sense knows that when you vote for let's say your vote counts to get a politician elected, right? When your vote counts to get a politician elected, that politician is not beholden to the people that voted for him. We should know this. We should have the common sense to know this and acknowledge this. We also should know that the government has turned our Constitution into Swiss cheese. We should also know that voting is basically virtue signaling. When you vote, you're telling the system that you are a willing participant, that you are compliant with whatever the government does, because you're just going to vote, right? Oh, if you don't like something, you're going to vote for a change. And then you're going to sit back and hope that your vote gets you the win, right? You're going to hope that your vote goes toward the majority of people that voted the same way, and that you'll get the politician or the measure or the law that you want in place, right? That's what you're doing when you're voting in this country. Let me tell you how well voting works in Russia, okay? Putin just passed a law that would allow him to be president of Russia until 2036. Now, how is that the same? Russia is a completely different country, right? Well, they basically vote in Russia, right? But they vote in Russia, but it's just a novelty. I mean, it's not a novelty. It's just a formality. It's like, okay, people, here, vote for some shit. Go ahead. You still ain't gonna get shit cracking. You know what I'm saying? There are too many other things going on in this country and in this system for our vote to truly, not even that, for the people that we vote for to truly make change toward the better. Will there be people that try to make change toward the better? Yes. But once they become elected and become a part of the system, once they understand that, look, this is the two-party game, and you're going to roll with what we got going on, or you're not going to go any further, they have a choice to make. They can say, you know what, I'm going to roll with that, or I'm going to come up against a heavy resistance when I do try to truly represent my people, and I ain't going to get shit done anyway. All right? So let's get it straight about what voting does. And this is the most important thing for me about voting and about democracy, right? Now, yes, this is not a pure democracy. It's not a pure democracy. It's a democratic republic. Meaning what? Meaning that this government is essentially a republic, meaning that our government is a system of representatives that represent our interests, that are supposed to represent our interests. They represent the interests of the constituents. But in order for them to get into place, they have to be voted for democratically, meaning majority rule. So the majority determines who rules over us. So that means that the minority who didn't want that person to rule over them, oh well, you gotta fucking go with it.
Slow traffic.
So that's the biggest problem with voting. So essentially, you have no legitimate right in some instances to vote, right? Because it's not like this. To vote, and I'm talking about as far as politics and the government is concerned. Let me give you an example of when voting can actually be okay. Well, it's not. It's okay. It's illegitimate. It's when you and a group of friends, 4 or 5 friends or 6 friends, right? Let's say 7 friends. You all just try to decide which club to go to tonight. Well, you don't want to go to that club because it's too much of a sausage fest, right? There's too many dudes there. You know what I'm saying? You want to go where all the chicks are, but where the chicks are, they play horrible music. But where there's a sausage fest, there's some cute chicks there, but they play great music, right? They play great music, and if you can pull a chick, if you got the game, if you got the skill, you pull the chick, and you can dance to some great-ass music. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both get sloppy, or whatever, and y'all can get it cracking later on at night. And so you say, you and your friends, like some of y'all want to go to the club with a great music, and some of y'all want to go to the club with all the girls, but where the music sucks and it throws off your game, right? It throws off your mojo. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, you say, you know what? Let's take a vote. Let's vote to see which club we go to. And the reason this is legitimate is because at any point, one or two of the friends can say, when the vote doesn't go their way, you know what? Y'all can go on ahead without me. I'm gonna go to this club. And they have the option. They can opt out of going to the club that everybody voted for. That's when voting is legitimate. That is an example of when voting is legitimate. You understand what I'm saying? That's when voting can work. And it doesn't have to affect you in a negative way. You can say, fuck that. All right, y'all voted for this club. Fuck that. I'm going to go to the club with the girls. I don't care how bad the music is. My game is tight anyway. Whatever. So that's where voting can do some good. But in terms of the government, when you vote for a politician to rule over you, you're not just voting for that politician to rule over you. You're voting for that politician to rule over everyone, even the minority, even the 49.9% of people who did not want that politician ruling over them. Okay? That's where you find the difference. That's where it's a problem. So, Numbskull over here is so concerned about the vote, so concerned about days being shortened, so concerned about drop-off boxes, so concerned about buses, Oh, do we not get to get on the bus? Oh, they got less drop boxes. Oh my goodness. Oh, they got less days to do the ballot. I don't give a hot shit about that. And anybody with some sense, anybody with common sense should be like, okay, whatever. Instead of focusing your energy on that, why not focus your energy on empowering the people? Saying, you know what? They want to see, this is an example of when the government does too much. You see what I'm saying? They want to reduce the voting days. They don't want you to do, they want to do this on a Sunday. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Y'all understand that the government is doing too much, and we should let these people know. We should let the government know. Fuck that vote. We're going to live as free people. You want to do all this restricting to the vote? You want to make us show ID, blah, blah, blah? All right. We're going to show y'all monkey mouth motherfuckers that guess what? We don't need to vote. We don't want you ruling over us. We don't want you controlling us. We got this from here. We don't need the government, blah, blah, blah. Because he's conservative, right? The idiot Lucas, he's supposed to be conservative. And he's supposed to, believe in less government, whatever. It is what it is. But that's basically where I'm coming from with that. Now, let's talk about the right to keep and bear arms. Let's talk about the right to keep and bear arms. Let me tell you something about the right to keep and bear arms. The right to keep and bear arms is way more legitimate and way more important and way more crucial to our freedom and our liberty than motherfucking voting. Okay? You can't compare the two. When they were trying to restrict one or the other, when they try to restrict them, you can't compare it. Because that's what he was doing in his little live stream, being sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. Oh my God, I don't have a problem with Joe Biden doing this and doing that with gun control. I don't have first of all, he was being sarcastic about some of that shit. But some of that shit he agreed with, like background checks, assault weapons bans.
5 miles.
You can listen. He was being sarcastic about certain things like universal background, whatever. He was so concerned about. Well, I didn't watch that whole segment, right? I only watched a little bit of it because I really couldn't stomach his voice for too long. So I was like, you know what? This sounds like some stupid shit that he's saying right now. Comparing them going after gun rights to them going after voter rights. First of all, firearms prevents and could possibly save 2.5 million lives each year. How many lives has voting saved? 0. As a matter of fact, voting has caused more lives to be lost than firearms have. Even though you can directly link firearms to deaths, voting still causes more deaths. All right? If you want to go down that road and break it down and really look at it. Right? But you can't compare the two. You can't compare the two because a vote is a paper tiger, right? Voting is a paper tiger. You want to use your power at the voting polls. No, it's a paper tiger. You cast a vote and you go home and twiddle your thumbs and wait for the government to take care of you, to take care of it because you voted. Or with a firearm, it's literally not a paper tiger. It's literally there to help prevent all kind of atrocities that could occur by the government. If you lose your right to vote, then all you've seen, right? If they say, you know what? Fuck this voting shit. If this is the people in government. Fuck this voting shit. Y'all can't vote no more. We just gonna do what we want to do. We gonna put people in place like we want to put them in place. Blah, blah, blah. all that's doing is opening your eyes to the full level of tyranny. But, and it's not going to prevent, like, you voting, like, you're still not in control of anything. I mean, you're controlling certain aspects of your life. And some people are okay with the limited number of rights they have. If you don't want the right to keep and bear arms, that's fine. If you don't want the right to use drugs, that's fine. You don't want if you don't want the right to sell drugs, if you don't want the right to travel freely as you want, as you see fit, if you don't want the right to not wear a mask, whatever, that's fine. That's on you. That's on you. But there are some people that want every single right that was given to them at birth, that they were born into. If the government says no more voting, we do what we want, then guess what is going, as long as we still have the one thing of the other, right? Okay, let's say this. Let's say the government said, fuck that. We don't want your votes. We don't care about your votes. We're going to do what we want. What are you going to want in your hand when they ramp? Let's say you still have your right to keep and bear arms, and you still have the right to vote, and they come up and they publicly tell you, all right, guys, we're going to come after you. We're going to take away your right to vote. We're going to take away your right to keep and bear arms. Here we come. What are you going to have in your hand? Are you going to have a fucking ballot? Or are you going to have a firearm to protect yourself, to defend your liberties? What are you going to use? So to compare voter right restrictions to firearm restrictions is asinine. Completely asinine. And he's so focused on making this comparison to try to, to go against the Republican Party because he feels some way. I guess they broke that stick off in his ass too far. It's hitting his colon. Not hitting his colon, hitting his prostate. That mother, you know what I'm saying? They done broke that stick off in his ass too far. They done the boy wrong too long that he'll ignore all the lies that Joe Biden told at that speech. The lies about there not being firearms. As a matter of fact, when Joe Biden said from the beginning of the Second Amendment, no one could own any gun, right? And not everyone had the right to keep and bear arms. Not everyone could own a gun. And not everybody could own every gun. And he said, I agree. No, because that's a lie. You could own any weapon that was available at the time. And it wasn't just muzzle loaders. It wasn't just muskets. They had fully automatic weapons, right? They had fully automatic weapons. It was like a Gatling gun, and these were owned by private people. Privateers, corsairs, right? Sea merchants, right? They were able to have cannons on their ships. These are private people. And the people on land, you know what I'm saying? The normies, they had the citizens, the civilians, they had firearms, they had cannons. They had those motherfucking Gatling guns, I forgot what they called them. They had all that shit.
Right turn.
So that's a damn lie. But he's okay with the lie because he hates Republicans now so much. You understand what I'm saying? I understand why he flipped because of the Ahmaud Arbery thing and all this other stuff. Kind of opens his eyes a little bit. But I'm not going to be so hard charging that I'm going to just completely just ignore all my morals and all of my convictions because of a certain group. That's what he's doing. That's what I see. And him agreeing with Joe Biden on certain shit and then being sarcastic about other things. Listen, that's on him. But the point he was making is that going after voter rights is like going after the right to keep and bear arms. Complete
You have
and
arrived
utter
at your destination.
bullshit.
The route guidance is now finished.
Complete and utter bullshit. Complete and utter. That is the most. That is nonsensical. You know what I mean? It's nonsensical. You can't make the comparison because they're not equally as important. They're not equally as legitimate. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you lose one, nothing changes, right? Essentially, except for in your own mind, where you're like, oh my God, they took away my right to vote. Whereas with the other, if they took away the other thing, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not concerned about voting, about voter rights restrictions. But I am concerned about the right to keep and bear arms being restricted and being taken away. That's where that's where my energy tends to go, to the more important, the thing of more heavy weight. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe if you so choose. Am I on point? Am I off? Y'all let me know. Peace out.